I never thought my childhood bedroom would become the birthplace of a $1 million business. When I started my online store from that small desk under basketball posters, my parents treated it like a phase that needed to be outgrown. They always saved their real pride for my sister Amanda, their future doctor. But life has a funny way of flipping the script. The look on their faces when I revealed my success at Amanda's graduation party made those years of mockery almost worth it. Where are you watching from today? Drop your location in the comments, hit that like button and subscribe to join me as I reveal how I turned family ridicule into a 7-figure revenge success story. Growing up in a quiet Chicago suburb, I was always the odd one out in my family. My father, Thomas, worked as an accountant for 30 years at the same firm, while my mother, Diane, taught English at the local high school. They valued stability and traditional career paths above all else, which made my entrepreneurial spirit seem like a liability rather than a gift. Even as a 10-year-old, I showed signs of business acumen that my parents dismissed as mere hobbies. I organized baseball card trading events in our garage, charging neighborhood kids 25 cents admission. By 13, I was fixing computers for elderly neighbors, earning $50 per house call. My parents would ruffle my hair and call these ventures cute, but whenever career discussions arose, they steered me toward accounting law or medicine. The real family star was my sister Amanda, 3 years my junior but miles ahead in parental approval. While I struggled to maintain a B average, she effortlessly collected A-plus grades. Her science fair projects won regional competitions. Her violin recitals drew tears from my mother. Teachers would greet me on the first day of class with, "Are you Amanda Campbell's brother?" followed by expectations I could never fulfill. Despite this shadow, I maintained an optimistic outlook through high school and into college. I enrolled at Illinois State University in business administration, trying to please my parents while still pursuing my interests. The standard curriculum bored me to tears, but I discovered something life-changing during my sophomore year in 2017. Late one night, while procrastinating on a marketing assignment, I stumbled upon an online forum discussing e-commerce opportunities. People my age were making real money selling products online without storefronts, inventory, or startup capital. Dropshipping, print-on-demand, affiliate marketing, the possibilities seemed endless. I stayed up until 4 in the morning, absorbing everything I could find on these business models. Within weeks, I launched my first small venture selling customized phone accessories. Using free design software and a print-on-demand service, I created unique cases that college students loved. My initial investment was just $200 of my scholarship money, and my first month brought in $380 in profit. It was modest but thrilling, like discovering a secret passage to financial freedom that bypassed all the traditional gates my parents insisted upon. That Thanksgiving, bursting with excitement about my new path, I decided to share my success with my family. As we sat around the dinner table with turkey and stuffing between us, I pulled out my phone to show them my online store and early sales figures. "I just made almost $400 last month with virtually no investment," I announced proudly. "I think I can scale this to a few thousand per month by next summer." The business model has incredible margins once you optimize the marketing. My father paused fork midway to his mouth, then let out a dismissive laugh that still echoes in my memory. He exchanged a look with my mother, who wore an expression of poorly concealed concern. "That is nice, sweetie, but what about your internship applications?" she asked, redirecting the conversation to her comfort zone. "The Thompson firm is accepting applications from juniors this year." From the corner of my eye, I caught Amanda subtly rolling her eyes. At 17, she was already being scouted by prestigious pre-med programs. Sheldon, my father said in that patronizing tone he reserved for what he considered my flights of fancy. "The internet is full of get-rich-quick schemes. Focus on your degree and a real job. This online stuff is just a distraction." Their words stung, but somewhere beneath the hurt, a determination took root. I nodded and changed the subject, but privately I resolved to prove them wrong. After graduation, my grand plans of moving to Chicago and renting a downtown apartment crashed against the harsh reality of my financial situation. Despite making some money from my online business student loan payments, and a series of failed product launches had drained my savings, Tail between my legs, I moved back into my childhood bedroom, my entrepreneurial dreams seemingly mocked by the high school trophies and posters still decorating the walls. Living at home as a 22-year-old college graduate pursuing an unconventional path created a pressure cooker environment. Every morning I would hear my father leave for work at precisely 7:30, his routine unchanging for decades. My mother would peek into my room before heading to school, finding me already at my computer. "You are applying for real positions today, right?" she would ask, her tone making it less a question and more a directive. Each day became a strange double life. I would send token job applications to appease my parents, while pouring my real energy into rebuilding my online business. I had pivoted to selling specialty fitness equipment accessories, a niche I thought could be profitable with the right marketing approach. The setbacks came in waves. In August, I made a catastrophic inventory mistake, pre-ordering 2,000 units of a product based on a manufacturer's misleading sample. The items arrived with obvious quality defects, resulting in a $3,000 loss I could barely afford. I had to hide the boxes in the garage and secretly drive them to a dumpster when my parents were at work. Just as I started to recover, my website was hacked in October. I lost 3 weeks of sales and had to rebuild everything from scratch, teaching myself enough coding to add security features the basic templates lacked. Each night after my parents went to bed, I would work until 3 or 4 in the morning, the blue light of my monitor illuminating a face increasingly lined with stress. The financial strain became nearly unbearable. My credit card debt climbed past $8,000, a secret burden I carried, while maintaining a facade of progress. There were nights I would sit on the floor of my room, spreadsheets open on my laptop, calculating and recalculating how long I could continue before complete financial collapse. Meanwhile, Amanda continued her ascent to family stardom. In April, she received an acceptance letter from Northwestern Medical School, accompanied by a substantial merit scholarship. My parents organized a celebration dinner that became an inadvertent showcase of our contrasting trajectories. "We are so proud," my mother gushed, raising her glass. "All those late nights studying were worth it. This is what dedication looks like." The unspoken comparison hung in the air like a storm cloud. Throughout the dinner, relatives asked Amanda detailed questions about her future, while I received only cursory inquiries about my job search. I became increasingly invisible as the evening progressed. Later that night, unable to sleep, I went downstairs for water and overheard my parents in the living room. "I am worried about Sheldon," my mother whispered. "All day on that computer with nothing to show for it. I thought he would outgrow this phase." My father sighed heavily. "The Campbell name has always stood for responsibility and hard work. I never thought I would have a family disappointment." Their words sliced through me, but what hurt more was realizing they had never actually looked at what I was building. They had decided my failure before giving my dream a fair evaluation. The tension erupted 2 weeks later during Sunday dinner. My father casually mentioned an entry-level accounting position at his firm. "I can put in a good word," he offered. "Starting salary is modest, but the benefits are excellent." "I am not interested in accounting," I replied more sharply than intended. "My business is starting to gain traction." My father slammed his hand on the table, making the dishes jump. "This internet fantasy has gone on long enough. You have 3 months to get a real job, or you need to find another place to live." The ultimatum hung in the air, my mother looking torn between her husband's frustration and concern for her son. Amanda stared at her plate, uncomfortable, but silent. That night, facing potential homelessness, I seriously considered abandoning my entrepreneurial path. I updated my resume and browsed corporate job listings, the very future I had been avoiding, staring back at me from the screen. A deep sadness settled over me as I contemplated surrendering my dream. The next day, seeking affordable co-working spaces as a backup plan, I visited a small business incubator downtown. While there, I literally bumped into Jackson Wright, spilling his coffee across the floor. Apologizing profusely, I offered to buy him another. This chance encounter would change everything. Jackson, as it turned out, had built and sold 2 seven-figure e-commerce businesses. Over replacement coffee, I shared my struggles, both business and family. Instead of platitudes, he offered concrete advice, and more importantly, validation that my path was viable. "I do not need to tell you how hard this road is," he said, "but based on what you have accomplished with no support system, you have what it takes. You just need to make a strategic pivot." Walking home that day, I made the decision to make one final all-in attempt. If I failed, I would accept defeat and follow the conventional path. If I succeeded, the victory would be all the sweeter for the doubt I had endured. With Jackson's mentorship, I completely overhauled my business approach. First, we identified a critical flaw in my previous attempts. I had been chasing trends rather than solving genuine consumer problems. After extensive research, we discovered an underserved market in sustainable household products, specifically targeted at urban millennials concerned about environmental impact, but overwhelmed by confusing eco-friendly options. I developed a curated product line of truly sustainable home basics, each verified by environmental certifications. I took weeks to understand properly. The key innovation was creating simple, color-coded packaging that communicated environmental impact, at a glance removing the complexity that deterred many potential eco-conscious consumers. The work schedule I adopted would have horrified my parents. I woke at 5 in the morning to handle supplier communications before they went to bed in Asia. Throughout the day, I built my new website, created content, and researched competitors. After dinner with my family, where I nodded vaguely about promising job prospects, I would return to work until midnight or later, mastering digital marketing techniques through free online resources. Jackson taught me advanced Facebook and Instagram ad targeting that maximized my limited budget. Instead of casting a wide net, we created highly specific customer avatars and tailored content to their exact pain points. My marketing spend dropped by 60%, while conversions increased threefold. The first signs of significant growth appeared almost exactly 2 months after my father's ultimatum. My revenue jumped from an inconsistent $500 monthly to over $10,000 in a single 30-day period. The validation was intoxicating, but I told no one, not even Amanda. I reinvested every penny expanding product lines and refining my marketing funnel. By month 3, facing my father's deadline, I had achieved enough financial stability to make a move. I found a small, affordable apartment near the business incubator and signed a 6-month lease. When I announced my plan to move out, my parents assumed I had finally capitulated and found corporate employment. "So you found something in accounting?" After all, my father asked, a note of satisfaction in his voice. "I landed a position," I replied truthfully, without specifying that I had employed myself. There was a strange satisfaction in their misconception, a private victory that fueled late nights of work at my new place. The freedom from constant judgment allowed my creativity to flourish. I expanded my product photography skills, created video content, and built relationships with micro-influencers in the sustainability space. As orders increased beyond my ability to handle alone, I hired my first virtual assistant, a college student from Arizona, who managed customer service emails for 15 hours weekly. Soon after, I brought on a part-time logistics coordinator. Working with these team members remotely required developing management skills I never knew I needed. The business growth accelerated in ways that sometimes left me breathless. A sustainable living influencer with over 300,000 followers featured my kitchen products in an Instagram story, sending my website traffic soaring. The carefully built infrastructure handled the surge, converting visitors to customers at a rate that exceeded industry standards. Monthly revenue climbed steadily: 20,000, 45,000, 82,000. I leased a small warehouse space with an attached office, hiring 3 local staff to handle fulfillment. The business had transformed from a bedroom dream to a legitimate operation with real-world impact. The most satisfying milestone came 13 months after that painful dinner when my father had called me a disappointment. My accountant confirmed what my dashboards had been showing: we had crossed the $1 million annual revenue threshold. That same week, I received an offer from a retail chain interested in carrying my products in their stores nationwide. Throughout this period, I maintained minimal contact with my family. Monthly dinners kept appearances during which I deflected questions about my work with vague references to project deadlines and client meetings. They assumed I had found my place in the corporate world and seemed satisfied with this fiction. Amanda, now deep in medical school, occasionally texted, but our conversations remained surface level. Then came the invitation to her medical school graduation party. My parents had planned an elaborate backyard celebration, inviting extended family and their social circle to commemorate Amanda's achievement. Despite our complicated relationship, I wanted to support my sister and RSVP'd my attendance. The party was exactly as I expected. White tents on the manicured lawn catered food, and my parents beaming with pride as they introduced Amanda to their friends as Dr. Campbell. I blended into the background, sipping punch and making polite conversation when approached. My father's brother, Uncle James, cornered me by the dessert table. "Your sister certainly set the bar high," he chuckled. Still doing that internet thing on the side. Before I could answer, my father interjected. Sheldon finally got serious and joined the workforce. He has an office downtown now. Actually, I do have an office downtown, I said, feeling a surge of courage. I own it along with the warehouse next door. My internet thing now employs 11 people full-time. My uncle looked confused. My father laughed dismissively. Sheldon likes to exaggerate his little side business. Something snapped inside me. 3 years of dismissal crystallized into a moment of perfect clarity. I pulled out my phone, opened my financial dashboard, and displayed the screen. "This is last month's revenue report," I said calmly. $1.2 million in annual revenue, 15% profit margin. And that acquisition offer from Greenlife Retail I was considering, I accepted it this morning. They are keeping me on as CEO with a significant equity stake. The silence that followed was deafening. My father's face cycled through disbelief, shock, and something that looked almost like fear. My mother's hand covered her mouth. But it was Amanda's expression that affected me most, her carefully constructed superiority crumbling into naked surprise. My uncle recovered first, slapping me on the back and loudly congratulating me. Other relatives drifted over, curious about the commotion. The attention that had been Amanda's all day suddenly shifted to me and my unexpected success story. As I answered questions about sustainable products and e-commerce, I caught glimpses of my sister standing alone by her graduation cake, her moment of glory overshadowed. For the first time in our relationship, I felt no satisfaction in her discomfort, only a strange, unexpected empathy. The weeks following Amanda's graduation party transformed my family dynamics in ways I never anticipated. The initial aftermath was awkward, with my parents oscillating between amazement at my success and discomfort at having dismissed it for so long. My father made the first attempt at reconciliation, appearing at my office unannounced one afternoon. He stood in the reception area, taking in the modern space with my company logo on the wall, looking simultaneously impressed and out of place in his traditional suit. "I thought I should see this operation for myself," he said, his usual confidence muted. "You have built something substantial here, son." It was not quite an apology, but coming from Thomas Campbell, it was monumental. I gave him a tour, explaining our business model and introducing him to my team. As we walked through the warehouse, watching orders being packed and shipped, I saw something shift in his expression, professional respect beginning to replace parental judgment. My mother's realization came more emotionally. She invited me for coffee at a neutral location away from the house, filled with difficult memories. Sitting across from me at a quiet table, her eyes welled with tears. "I convinced myself I was protecting you from disappointment," she admitted. "I was so afraid you would fail that I never gave you the chance to succeed. I am sorry, Sheldon. Truly sorry." Her words released something tightly wound within me. We talked for hours that day, not just about business, but about expectations, communication, and the pain of feeling unseen within your own family. Amanda's reaction surprised me most. She texted 3 days after her party asking to meet. At a small park near her apartment, she confessed something I never expected. "I was always jealous of you," she said, watching children play on the swings nearby. "You knew what you wanted and went for it regardless of what anyone thought. I just followed the path everyone expected." "But you love medicine," I said, confused. "You have always been brilliant at science." She shrugged. "I do love it now, but I chose it initially because it was what would make them proudest. You chose your path for yourself. That takes courage I never had." This revelation stunned me. All those years competing with a sister who had seemed to effortlessly win our parents' approval, and she had been envying my independence. Life rarely gives us the full picture of those closest to us. My healing journey extended beyond family reconciliation. The years of dismissal and doubt had left deeper wounds than I realized. At Jackson's suggestion, I began seeing a therapist who specialized in family dynamics and entrepreneurial stress. Dr. Linden helped me understand how seeking parental approval had shaped my decisions and how my business success, while validating, could not heal those emotional injuries on its own. Our weekly sessions became a space to reconnect with parts of myself beyond the entrepreneur, the son, or the brother. I also built genuine friendships within the entrepreneurial community, people who understood the unique challenges of building something from nothing. Monthly mastermind meetings with 5 other business owners became a source of both practical advice and emotional support. These relationships, based on mutual respect rather than obligation, taught me how healthy connections should feel. Most importantly, I learned to define success on my own terms. While the validation from my family felt momentarily satisfying, I recognized it as an unreliable foundation for happiness. True fulfillment came from creating products that made a difference, providing jobs for my team, and growing as a person through challenges. Rebuilding a relationship with my family required clear boundaries. I suggested Sunday dinners as neutral territory for reconnection, but with new ground rules: no unsolicited business advice, no comparisons between siblings, and a commitment to genuine listening. The first few gatherings were stilted, but gradually new patterns emerged. An unexpected bridge formed when Amanda asked for help creating a website for her new medical practice. Working together on this project, we found common ground as adults that had eluded us as competitive siblings. Her analytical mind complemented my creative approach, and for the first time we functioned as a team rather than rivals. My parents, too, found ways to show support on my terms. My father, ever practical, referred several business connections that resulted in valuable partnerships. My mother, with her educator's heart, took genuine interest in learning about e-commerce, asking questions that showed real engagement rather than polite formality. The most profound lesson from this journey was not about proving others wrong or financial success. It was understanding that we must find courage to define our own paths, even when those we love most cannot see the road we are traveling. Validation from others feels momentarily sweet, but creates a fragile foundation. The enduring satisfaction comes from honoring our own vision and values, especially when they diverge from conventional expectations. Pain and doubt, while never welcome companions, can transform into powerful motivation when channeled properly. Have you ever had to defend an unconventional dream against family skepticism? Share your story in the comments below. If this journey of turning doubt into determination resonated with you, please hit the like button and subscribe to hear more tales of family dynamics and unexpected success. I would appreciate if you could share this video with someone who might be struggling with similar challenges. Thank you for listening, and remember, sometimes the path that everyone questions leads exactly where you need to go.